Same thing, one would therefore expect a force on the plates pushing them toward each other. This force has actually been detected and has the predicted value. Good. Thus, we have experimental evidence that virtual particles exist and have real effects. So this is all a reality. Virtual particles do exist. These types of quantum effects, if you will, are not only just a thing in your brain, it's actually tried and tested. So this is the great success of quantum mechanics, if you will, where sometimes quantum mechanics will have bizarre predictions and bizarre things that are the outcomes of quantum mechanics. But fortunately or unfortunately, well, unfortunately for the haters of quantum mechanics, they are tried and tested. The success of quantum mechanics experimentally is exactly why quantum mechanics continues to thrive. Remember this. There are people who don't like quantum mechanics, but they still have to be quiet and accept it because it has been tested and there are experimental successes. I wanted to mention that while we talk about these virtual particles. Share your drawing, yes. The fact that there are fewer virtual photons between the plates means that their energy density will be less than elsewhere. What? Okay, the fact that there are fewer virtual photons between the plates means that their energy density will be less than elsewhere. But the total energy density in empty space far away from the plates must be zero, because otherwise the energy density would warp the space and it would not be almost flat. So if the energy density between the plates is less than the energy density far away, it must be negative. So if the energy density between the plates is less than the energy density far away, it must be negative. Because overall, the energy density, the total energy density in empty space far away from the plates must be zero. So if it's something else in between the plates and far away, it's zero, then in the between the plates, it must be negative. Isn't that so crazy? So again, far away, because this thing is an empty space, and virtual particles are part of empty space, far away, it's going to be zero energy density total. But what that means is that inside of the energy, inside of the metal plates, it's going to be negative, which is pretty cool. We talked about how energy densities are generally not considered to be negative in classical theories, because it's kind of like an overdrawn account in banks and money analogy. But in quantum, you can get energy densities that are negative. We thus have experimental evidence both that space-time can be warped from the bending of light during eclipses, and that it can be curved in the way necessary to allow time travel from the Casimir effect. So we already know that space-time can be warped. Space-time can be warped because of gravitation, and that it can be curved in the way necessary to allow time travel, so negative energy density. You guys don't leave the live because it's showing that everybody's leaving when you go and do other things, I think. But, up to you. So we thus have experimental evidence both that space-time can be warped from the bending of light during eclipses, and that it can be curved in the way necessary to allow time travel from the Casimir effect. One might hope, therefore, that as we advance in science and technology, we would eventually manage to build a time machine, because we can do this sort of thing in those metal plates. I play in the background. I have YouTube Premium. Oh, nice. Hello, Doro. Good luck, Steven. Thank you for liking the live.